about the day and what happened. And I'm just going to translate, but what we wanted to do is make sure that you understand everything in the chronological events from when he got here and what happened on that day, so that when we go to the different sites, you'll be able to, having heard the story, it will make sense when you go here and here and here and here. Okay?
Donc, 1er août 1944.
August 1st, 1944.
Mission bombardement sur l'aérodrome de Chartres.
A bombing mission to be carried out where the airport is in Chartres.
Les avions partent de Deanthorpe en Angleterre.
The planes left from Deanthorpe in England here.
Plusieurs groupes de bombardement, dont le 91e bombe groupe et le 401e bombe groupe.
Several groups of bombardiers from the, I forgot the numbers already. 400, what are they? 401 and?
Et 91.
And 91. The 91st Bomber Group.
Plus de 1000 bombardiers ce jour-là pour la mission.
Over 1,000 bombardiers for that mission on that day.
Plus un petit truc, au départ de cette mission, ces avions-là partaient bombarder Berlin.
Berlin.
Oui.
Au départ.
Au départ.
Il faisait
mauvais temps.
Mauvais temps, ils ont été...
Okay, so their initial mission was to go bomb Berlin, but the weather went foul, and so they came here instead.
La mission arrive sur Chartres. Un des B-17, le Stormy Weather, est touché par l'essai allemande, la flak.
So one of the B-17s, Stormy Weather, was hit by the anti-aircraft guns, the Nazi anti-aircraft guns.
Il se décale pour sortir du groupe, il percute l'autre B-17, le Jeanne.
So he's trying to leave the formation so that he doesn't endanger any other planes, and as he does that, he hits another airplane called the Jeanne.
Ce jour-là, un autre B-17 du 91e bombe groupe se crache dans un autre village près de Chartres.
Another one of those B-17s crashes on another village on the other side of Chartres.
Tout l'équipage est tué.
Dans cet avion-là qui a craché à
Oui,
côté de
ouais.
Chartres. So in that crew, everyone was killed.
Après que les deux avions se soient percutés, l'équipage du Stormy Weather, une partie de l'équipage, dont 2 hommes, saute de l'avion.
Okay, once the Stormy Weather hit the Jeanne, 2 of the flight crew were able to jump out of the plane and evacuate.
Le sergent James Bozart tombe à Lèves, où on ira plus tard.
James Bozart lands in Lev, and a spot that we'll go to later.
Le mitrailleur latéral Harold Mapps tombe dans la rue ici.
What was his name? Harold?
Harold Mapps.
Harold Map? Mapes. Okay. Sorry. He was one of the waist gunners, and he lands very close to here.
Malheureusement pour lui, il tombe à côté des baraquements allemands.
Unfortunately, he lands right next to where the Germans are located,
Il est tout de suite fait prisonnier.
and he's taken prisoner immediately.
James Bozart arrive dans un champ beaucoup plus loin.
So James Bozart lands in a field much farther from here.
Après, je vais laisser Jérôme Vallée.
Donc après, James Bozart, donc en descendant, 3 jeunes lui voient, donc ont aperçu le parachute. Et quand il a atterri, donc il a été pris en charge par les 3 jeunes, donc Pierre Doublet.
Wait. So when he lands in this field north of Chartres, 3 young people see the parachute come down, and these 3 young guys rush out to get him, and their names are
Pierre Doublet,
Pierre Doublet,
André Le Sourd,
André Le Sourd,
et puis Marcel Fargue,
and Marcel Fargue, your uncle.
Et après,
Ils atterrissent ici.
So they land here in this spot.
Et après, donc, une fois qu'il s'est débarrassé de son parachute,
And once he got rid of his parachute,
voilà, Pierre Doublet, Marcel Fargue ont emmené James Bozart dans le bois pour se cacher des patrouilles allemandes qui le recherchaient.
okay, so he gets out of his parachute, they camouflage the parachute, and as soon as that happens, these 3 young guys take him out into the woods to hide from the patrols, the German patrols that are out looking for the parachutes, looking for the guys who they saw jump out of the plane.
Voilà. Et donc, André Le Sourd a été caché le parachute de James Bozart.
Okay.
Et il est revenu, quand Pierre Doublet et Marcel Farc étaient cachés, donc André Le Sourd est revenu avec des vêtements civils pour permettre à James de pouvoir se changer, mais les vêtements civils étaient trop petits.
Okay, so André Le Sourd,
Oui, bah,
once the other
je suis pas
two
important,
took
moi.
your granddad out into the woods to hide him, the third guy went into town and got some civilian clothes so he can change his clothes so they can camouflage him. But when they brought the clothes back, the clothes were too small for him. They didn't fit, which was always a problem. Americans are generally bigger than the French were. And the biggest problem was always their feet, because nobody had feet that big. And your flight boots are
Ouais.
immediately identifiable, and so the Germans on patrol would recognize you right away just from your footwear.
Et justement, James Bozart a jeté très très vite ses bottes de
So
vol
he
pour pouvoir
pitched
courir.
his boots as quickly as possible so that he wouldn't be recognized by his boots, and that allowed him to run, because these aren't easy to run in either.
Et donc après, donc, André Le Sourd est retourné chez lui avec Pierre Doublet, ils étaient jeunes, donc young man. Et après, Marcel Farc est parti, a fait tout ce circuit-là, pour revenir sur l'Ève avec Jeanne Bozart.
Il l'a emmené.
Ils l'ont emmené, voilà, ils ont fait tout un grand tour pour justement échapper aux Allemands.
C'était lequel?
Alors, Marcel ici.
Marcel, ok.
Voilà. Et donc, ils ont été jusque dans le jardin de notre grand-mère,
Okay.
et où il y avait une cabane pour qu'ils puissent se cacher dedans.
Okay, so two of the boys went home because they're young and they needed to go home. The third, their great uncle, took that path, the blue path, all the way around the outside of the town, and ended up in the center of town, in the back garden in a shed where they put your granddad.
About how long is that?
C'est combien à peu près? Ça leur a pris combien de temps? C'est
Un bon bout. Ils ont
2
fait,
kilomètres, 3 kilomètres?
oh, largement. Hein.
Yeah, probably a couple miles actually to do the circuit around the outside, but they couldn't go straight down the main road. You're not going to do that. Even if plus his clothes were too small. I mean, it's going to look odd immediately. So they took the outside the road, the beaten pathway to get home, and got him into the back garden, into the shed.
C'était vraiment nécessaire pour échapper aux Allemands qui, eux, étaient en train vraiment de le chercher. Hein.
Because the Germans were really on the alert and were looking, because they'd seen that parachute come down, so they have to account for everybody.
Voilà, donc après, une fois qu'il était donc dans la cabane, après, donc, c'est Michel qui a expliqué. Donc Michel, tu peux expliquer?
So once he was in the garden shed,
Donc ma grand-mère est allée au jardin avec sa brouette.
so her grandma went out in the garden with her wheelbarrow,
Et donc elle a donné des vêtements à James Bozart, des vêtements de mon oncle Marcel.
gave him some bigger clothes,
Et, oui. Et ils sont revenus tous les deux.
and they came back,
James Bozart
and he
poussait
was
la
pushing the
brouette,
wheelbarrow,
et ma grand-mère à côté.
and she was walking next to him like he was
Jusqu'à la maison.
doing a
ici.
task for her all the way into the house here.
Et comme notre grand-mère avait 6 garçons,
And since Grandma had 6 sons,
Voilà.
he could have been passed off as one of the sons at a first glance.
donc c'était le 7e fils.
So he turned into being the 7th son for that time period. Yes,
Was
ma'am.
he injured?
Est-ce qu'il avait été blessé à ce moment-là? Il était blessé?
Non, il n'était pas blessé.
No,
Non.
Non, mais il était très choqué, je pense.
Yeah,
Oui,
maybe,
La-
maybe
la
not
chute,
a bleeding wound, but maybe, obviously, likely bruising and oh, he had a
L'atterrissage.
broken collarbone?
Ouais.
Ils disent qu'il avait
Oui,
le
petit.
clavicule cassé, là.
Ah oui, voilà.
Ouais, non, c'est pas le clavicule, ça, cet os-là.
C'est le clavicule.
Cassé.
clavicule.
Vous l'avez pas vu tout de suite, je crois.
Oui.
Oui, du choc, mais pas de blessure.
Ouais.
He wasn't shot or anything, so probably on impact from the. Who knows what the altitude was when he jumped out? For that to be successful, you have to jump out at a certain speed, at a certain altitude, and the plane's crashing. So you jump out because you know you're going to die if you stay in the plane. So likely it was not a practiced sort of landing, but a catastrophic. Got to do this or I'm going to die.
Pour leur donner une petite précision, pourquoi notre oncle était tout seul chez la grand-mère pour demander à la grand-mère de revenir au jardin, c'est parce que notre oncle était déjà sous surveillance, il était déjà contrôlé un petit peu par... Enfin, les Allemands avaient déjà quelques suspicions à son égard. Donc,
Oh, all right. So
il préférait, excusez-moi,
No, go ahead.
il préférait donc revenir tout seul, demander à la grand-mère d'aller le chercher, comment dire, tranquillement, et puis lui, comme ça, il n'était pas avec.
À quelle distance était la cabane du jardin de la maison?
On ira cet après-midi, mais c'est pas très loin, c'est à peu près à 500 mètres. Hein.
Okay, so about a quarter of a mile away was where the garden shed was. People often had an allotment elsewhere where they had their little gardens, and we saw some of those on the way here. I don't know if you noticed any. So that's where the garden shed was. So the uncle came back alone. He didn't dare bring your granddad back with him because he was already under suspicion of the Germans. And so that's why they wanted Grandma to get involved, because she's a more innocuous sort of, not somebody that anyone would fear. And so Grandma was the one who walked out with the wheelbarrow to get your granddad. Vous aviez autre chose à dire? Non.
Je peux rajouter une petite chose, c'est au niveau de, justement, quand il y a eu l'impact dans l'avion, déjà ils avaient très peu de vol, enfin de saut de parachute en général, ils faisaient un saut, un tout petit saut, et là c'était le choc, c'est une température qui fait moins 40, moins 50 dans l'avion, et c'est plus d'oxygène, alors à moitié complètement, et après ils sautaient en parachute, ils ne savaient pas s'ils allaient arriver, s'ils allaient se faire tuer. Avant d'arriver au sol.
Yeah, to put that in context, so the plane was hit, they hit another plane, and it's a catastrophe. They're in freezing temperatures when they're at altitude. So there's going to be a thermal shock when you jump out of the plane, and they didn't have enough parachutes for everybody. And imagine those conditions, probably a little woozy and feeling weird to begin with, so it's not like a practice jump when you're training to, it's not that. It's the trying to keep your head together if you're feeling funky, and maybe he could possibly have, broken his shoulder before by, being tumbled around when the plane was hit, because we don't know what was happening in the sky. Have you watched this series, Masters of the Air?
No, we just heard about it though.
You should do, because I don't know if you should do. It's pretty realistic, so don't let your kids watch it.
Ce qu'il faut dire aussi, c'est que les deux avions s'étant percutés, le Stormy Weather n'avait plus sa queue.
Yeah, so they're not able to navigate this plane because the whole tail was broken off it when they hit the Jeanne. So it's crashing uncontrollably. They don't even know what altitude they're at. You can imagine that all the dials are spinning, and it's that catastrophic situation. And two guys jump out.
Un témoignage récolté par les autorités américaines après la guerre, que l'avion, quand il est arrivé sur Néron, il volait à l'envers.
So there's an eyewitness account that was taken then from a local person, but taken by the American government. When the plane arrived at Néron, it was flying upside down. It had lost control to that extent that it was upside down when these guys bailed out.
I have a quick question about the parachutes. They're not wearing them when they're in the plane.
No,
Do they have to strap
no.
them on before they jump?
Yep, and you want to make sure it's on, kind of all the way. It's not like you throw your backpack over one shoulder kind of thing, but under those circumstances, maybe it was.
Okay.
How do you hook up all the bits and pieces and make sure that Masters of the Air?
Il faut dire que dans les appareils, ils n'avaient pas le parachute sur eux.
C'est ce qu'elle vient de demander.
Ouais,
et donc,
il mettait le parachute.
le temps de l'accrocher,
Ouais.
tous les
Ouais.
trucs, et peut-être que quand on met son sac à dos, on le met sur une épaule, et puis
Voilà.
on saute quand même, parce que sinon on descend, et puis voilà. Enfin,
Harold,
tout ce que it could be that. The shoulder could be that. If he wasn't correctly strapped in, and the shock of when the chute opens, if you're not hooked up correctly and you don't have the bits that are all around you to distribute the shock evenly to all of your four arms and legs.
That's what he said.
OK. Il a dit que c'était ça, c'est qu'il n'avait pas attaché comme il fallait le parachute. Et le choc, quand c'était ouvert, c'est là où il a eu le clavicule cassé.
et Harold de Map, l'autre survivant, était il avait son parachute, il était coincé, il a ouvert son parachute, il l'a jeté, c'est le parachute qui l'a sorti de l'avion comme ça.
Oh, wow. So Harold Mape, the other guy who survived this, had actually opened his chute in the plane, and it's the chute that threw him out of the plane because he was stuck in the airplane and he couldn't get out. So the opening of the chute pulled his body out of the opening of the plane, and that's how he got out. Otherwise, he was stuck in the plane and was going to go down with it.